Good morning, class, or maybe good afternoon if you're watching this later. So, today you're going to be starting your first of your computer assignments, and it's an assignment called Headers and Footers. So, you'll need to navigate to your email, and you will have an email from me that contains this video and your headers and footers. So, if you've gotten to this video, you've gotten to where you need to be. So, you'll need to open up your headers and footers assignment. Now, before we go too far, we should probably talk about where your headers and footers assignment lives. If you have not already done so, open your Finder, that's the two faces, it's on your dock. And you need to have a folder called Keyboarding. I don't care if that folder is on your desktop, I don't care if that folder is in your documents. Hopefully you created these folders already with your first exploratory teacher. If you did not, we will take care of this on Monday, or you can ask a classmate. I'm sure somebody knows how to create a new folder. You may have made one that says English, you may have made one that says math, one that says science or civics, depending on what you have second period. And then third period, maybe you made an exploratory one and you put keyboarding inside of it. If not, you need to make a keyboarding folder because we're going to end up with quite a few assignments. This is just a sampling of just what it looks like when it's messy. We'll talk about organization. And then this is what it's like when you get actively organized. You can see where things are going to live. Because each day you're going to have an assignment from me as well as the page you complete. So you can see yours will actually be doubled from what this is, and you will have a jumble of a whole bunch of stuff if you do not get organized. So like I said, you need to open that first activity that I gave you. It's called Headers and Footers. So once that's open in Word, we'll go ahead and we'll read through it. And we will do this every day in class. We will read through the items first, and then I will show you how to do them, and we'll work through them as a class. So number one says you're going to open a new Word document. Different ways to open a new Word document. You can go to File and New. That's in the menu bar, File and New. There's also a shortcut of Command N that you can go to, or if you have this menu bar up here showing, it's like a little sub-menu above your ribbons. You can also get New up here. If your New does not show up here, see this arrow? I can click this and then make sure there's a check mark by New. So I need to open a new Word document, however you do this. But I put 3 different ways that you can in parentheses for you. Number 2, you're going to set the font to Times, size 10 point. Now before I go much farther, I should probably explain that most of the time in any application on your computer, but specifically with Office, there are usually 3 ways you can do this. You can usually use your menus, which that exists right up here, or you can use your ribbons, which exist right here, or you can use keyboard shortcuts. It's because different people learn in different ways and they understand that. So to change the font, you're going to make sure you're on the home ribbon, and then the font can be changed right here where it says the font name. Now a shortcut, since I know T is going to be way at the bottom, I can double click on this and just start typing, and there it comes up. And it's going to scroll or take me down there if I have it open on that disclosure triangle. So that's one way I can change the font. I can also go to the Format menu and go to Font, and it opens this dialog box that's going to say way more than what is on just the home ribbon. So here I have font, and then I have special font effects and underlines and things like that that I can do. Same thing here, I could just start typing, and it takes me to, oops, nope, I don't have time, I have Times. And then it would take me to the Times font. Size 10 point, make sure it changes from 12 to 10. So this is on a new Word document. It is not on this document we're currently on. Number 3, you're going to go to Insert Header, and that's going to insert a blank header on the ribbon, or you can click on the View menu and Headers and Footers. So a couple different ways to do this. You can go to the Insert menu, and you can go to Header, or, and does everybody see where header is? Hopefully you do. It's over here, about 2/3 of the way over. Or you can go to your View menu, which does not seem instinctive to go to View, but that's just where it's always been hidden. So into the View menu and Header and Footer. A third way that you can get into your header and footer is to double click in this gray area that's outside your margins. And if you don't have this ruler showing, I would definitely make it showing because it will help you tremendously when you are trying to work more efficiently on your computer. And in order to get that to show, you'll want to go to the View menu again Make sure there's a check mark by ruler. You can stop this video at any time if you need to and make sure you get these things done, or if you need to replay it. That's the beauty of the video, I guess. So double click in that grade area and it will bring you up this menu, and then you can navigate to your headers and footers. No, you cannot navigate to your headers and footers. I lied. Forget all of that. That's for margins. It's too early in the morning for me. The other way to double click and get in your headers is to scroll where the header would be and double click up there. And now I can get into my header. Once you're in your header, whatever way means you decide to get into it, again, the insert menu and over here with header, and then you decide you want the header, or going to the view menu and down to header and footer brings you the exact same place, or double clicking in the header, whatever that might be. What you can do then is do some different navigation. So you will notice if you start typing that it gives you information to the left. You will always default to this. This little mark right here is a tab. It's a center tab. And over here there's a little mark that's a right tab. So if I push tab, it moves me to the center. It's not like my normal alignment that I could use. The header and footer are totally separate from that. So you'll have to make sure this header and footer menu or ribbon is open as well. That will help you to navigate easily. So you can see it's grayed out. When the grayed out area is your main document, it becomes black as you're typing. When I get out of this area, so I'll type my name up here. When I get out of this area, this looks grayed out. It will still print black, but it shows me that it's not part of my active main document. So letter A says you're going to type your name in all caps and then hit tab. Letter B, type the text headers and footers. You do not need these these quotation marks. You don't need those. That's just to show you that's what you're typing. So you're going to type headers and footers, then hit tab, and then you're going to type today's date. Now, there's a shortcut to putting in today's date when you're in your header and footer. So once you're in your header and footer, remember you can go to this ribbon, and then the fourth item over here says insert date and time. So I'm just going to push tab so you see what I'm doing here. And I can go pick whatever date format I want, but maybe I want to do this format. And then there's my date, automatically inserted for me. I didn't have to type a single thing, I just had to click 2 times. And you can do that. Now, when you insert that, that's called a field that you're inserting, rather than just you manually typing it. The difference is, if I hit that back arrow, oh, I lied. That doesn't insert a field. That just inserts the date. Okay, again, forget what I said. The inserting the field is going to come with page number. So while we're up here, let's talk about inserting the page number. I'm just going to push tab again so you see some separation. The third item over to enter a page number. Now I could manually type the page number on, but then it's always going to say page 1. Even if I have page 2, page 3, if I manually type it on. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So in this header, if I would type page 1, it's always going to say page 1, even if I come down here and I'm just doing a shortcut for inserting a new page. So each one of these pages now that I scroll to, this one says page 1. I'm scrolling down. You can see my scroll bar on the right hand side, page 1, page 1. That's a problem because I'm on the 3rd page technically, and you can see down here at the bottom of my status bar it says I'm on page 3 of 3. So in order to avoid that, you want to be in your header, and that's when you'd want to use this insert page number. And if I insert the page number, I could tell it where I want the alignment to be. In this case, I want it to the left side. And I'm going to click OK. I'm just going to get rid of this word page so it doesn't confuse you. So this is what I was talking about. When I have this inserted, I'm using my left arrow key, and that is a field that I have inserted. It put like this sort of text box around it, but it's a little bit harder to manipulate and move, and it's anchored into the spot. That's what you see that anchor for. So now I've inserted it using my header and footer ribbon and added the page number that way. So now when I scroll down, page 2 says a 2. Page 3 says a 3. And it's important that you know how to do that. That is something you will use as you do papers throughout school that need to be in MLA format. That is a citation style, but you will need to have different page numbers for each page, and that way you don't have to manually go type them in and see the frustration when it doesn't change for you correctly. So, back to the document we were working on. Number 5 says you're going to switch to the footer and use your ribbon. In order to do that, here I'm in my header, and I have my header and footer menu open. I'm going to click on Go to Footer, and I can go to footer. Now, another way I could actually do that is I could just scroll, or I could come down here, and if I scroll down when I'm in my header, that footer becomes active when I click on it. Just like before, to get into my footer is the same way to get into my header. I can go to Insert and go over here to Footer. I could go up to the View menu, go down to Header and Footer, or I can scroll down and just double click in the area where the footer should be. Number 6 says in the center of the footer, and remember to get to the center you're going to need to push tab. In the center of the footer, insert the date to auto update and insert the page number right aligned. Oh, I didn't talk to you about auto updating. So when I insert the page number, did you see that, oh, not the page number, excuse me, the date, did you see that there's this checkbox for automatically updating? You'll want to make sure you check that box and then it will update. So even if you open this 2 weeks from now, it would have the current date on it, not just today's date. By the way, I'm navigating and switching between these open windows by using the command and the tilde. The tilde is up by the number 1, and that navigates me between the 2 windows. So number 7 on your assignment says then you're going to close the header and footer. Number 8, at the top of the page, not in the header, you're going to type the text, "This is page 1." Then number 9 says you're going to insert a page break by going to Insert, Break, and Page Break. There's also a shortcut for that, and that's what I was using when I was typing this in. So you're going to type, I'm not sure why I'm way over there, but this is page 1. And then I'm going to go to Insert, Break, and Page Break. You will notice here's the shortcut for this, Command and Enter. So you can either go to Insert, Break, and Page Break, and now I have inserted another page, or I can push Command and Enter, and that takes me to another one. Now if I push Command and Enter again, it gives me a 4th page, and so on and so forth. You're not going to need to insert that many. I just want you to see how to do it. If you accidentally insert too many, you can always push Command Z or this undo button and get rid of it as well. So here I've typed "This is page 1." Number 9 had told me to insert a page break, and then at the top of page 2, and if you're curious if you're on page 2, if you've done your header correctly, when you scroll you should see that this says a 2. You can also always go look at this menu bar down here, the status bar, excuse me, not the menu bar, and see what the page number should be. And then at the top of page 2, type the text, "This is page 2." Again, you don't need to put the quotation marks around it. Number 11 says print preview your document to be sure that both pages show the header and the footer, and be sure the page number is correct. So when we're on this, I'm just going to type quickly what you need to. This is page 2. To print preview, I'm going to go to File and Print, where you see the shortcut there is Command P, and what it brings up is this small print preview. Now, you might be like, I can't read that, it's too small. Yes, it is too small, but you can use the pinch and zoom on your trackpad, and you can make this bigger. So you could actually read it. And there I see I'm on page 1, and it says this is page 1. If I go, this is page 2, again, I could zoom in. Hey, yeah, I got this going on. Yours will only be 2 pages long. It should not be 4. If yours is 4, you have done something incorrect, or you've not been listening. One of the 2. So that's your print preview to make sure it's that way. I could also look at it though on my screen. I could just zoom out and say, yeah, there's page 1 and page 2. How I'm zooming out, I'm pinching, moving my trackpad, or I can come down here to the status bar and move the view, or I can go to, I believe, my view menu and zoom and change my zoom there as well. Number 12 says I'm going to proofread the document for spelling and accuracy. I will take a point off if you spell things incorrectly, especially if you spell your name incorrectly. Number 13, you're going to save the document as header and footer. I want to also add right here, and you will want to add this to your notes, as well as adding my name or initials. Why do I need to do that? Well, everybody's going to have the same document that's going to be Times font, correct? Because you were doing that up here in number 2. Well, it doesn't matter who you are, your Times is going to look the exact same as somebody else's Times, is the exact same as somebody else's because it's a computer. I can't tell by handwriting whose document is whose. And this is a true story that you will use this even into your college life, your adult life, whatever it might be, that you need to put your name on your document. And the best way to do that is to put it in the file when you save it. So your new file is going to be saved as headers and footers. So you're going to go to File, Save As, and when that dialog box pops up, yours might be really itty bitty, and you cannot easily and quickly and efficiently move to where you need to unless you toggle this disclosure triangle open. Then I can go to my keyboarding folder. I'm going to rename this as headers and footers followed by my initials. Or maybe I always use my last name when I save stuff. So I'd always save it as C. Bauermeister. Not that there are a lot of other Bauermeisters out there, but when I was doing my assignment, I did that. Every professor I had knew that was my document then, and nobody else could claim it as theirs. When I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and save that, and I'll hit save, and then you're done. If you happen to have the same initials as somebody else who's in the class, look around the room. If you have the same initials, please don't just use 2 initials. Maybe use your first name and a last initial, or maybe use all 3 initials that you have. That would be a smart move, just so we can, again, distinguish who is who. When you are done, you're going to upload this to the Dropbox in Canvas. Now, I know you guys have done Dropboxes. If you have troubles with that, you walk your little body across the hall and you say, I need help getting the Dropbox. Otherwise, you have a fabulous day, and now that you're done with this, you have some keyboarding to work on.